Hi everyone, Julia is here. I'm glad to see my channel Euphrodise of Russian, and in today's video will be Irish surnames. So let's begin. In the 10th century, Ireland, one of the first country in the world and the first country in Europe, began to use surnames. Before that, Irish simply used middle names, and that's it. Well, in Ireland, in pre-Christian period, the clan system was very strong, and almost all main local surnames originated during the widespread use of Irish language, Gaelic. And the most famous Irish prefixes, mac and also o, means respectively the son of so and so, or grandson or so and so. Well, that is, MacDonald is Donald's son, and O'Brien is Brian, grandson. In other words, descendants of this or that.
For women, the Mac prefix changed to Nick and the O prefix changed to Ni. This complex system of constantly changing the surname did not take root. Regarding the prefix O, this is a legacy from the Gaelic languages, where the next words meant descendant. That is, Scarlett O'Hara is Scarlett, a descendant of Hara, most likely a granddaughter. Ni Hara is the daughter of Hara, and Wi Hara is the wife of Hara. And the famous apostrophe that follows the prefix O appeared as a result of an error and misunderstanding when surnames tried to take root in various difficult historical periods.
Now the prefix Mac is more typical for northern half of Ireland and O for southern half. But in addition to the most popular, there are so many of them that there is even map of prevalence surnames in the counties. In general, we can distinguish 8 types of nicknames, which in the future were transformed into surnames. Professional, related to a person's personal characteristics. Genetic, clan, related to description of area. By name of the area, by the name of estate, towers, and taking in honor of a patron. A complete list of over 100 surnames you can easily find in open spaces. I will not duplicate this information here, but I will highlight top 10 the most famous Irish surnames.
Murphy, O'Connor, Kelly, O'Brien, Ryan, Walsh, Byrne, O'Sullivan, McCarthy, O'Neill.
How you think? How will more correctly surnames or surnames? Write your answer in the comments. By the way, subscribe to my channel, mark the bell in order not to miss new release, and push the button if you like this video. Surnames often have very dubious interpretation. Let's list a couple of completely unexpected ones.
Buckley, Campbell, Madden, Mullen, O'Doherty, O'Leary, Foley.
It's not surprised that the Irish for a long time treated the writing of their surnames very informally, one might say carelessly. In the family grave you can often find up a half of dozen spellings of the same surname. I think it depends on what period of pressure or freedom they lived in. Well, if you plunge into history, after the Norman conquest of Ireland in 12th century, the Normans who settled on Emerald Isle became so integrated into Irish culture that they began giving their children Irish name and learning Celtic language. By the way, video about Irish names, who missed, you can watch clicking by here.
The British did not like what was happening very much, and they passed a law obliging all Englishmen living in Ireland to have English names and speak English. By the 17th century, the influence of the English in Ireland had increased so much that it became extremely difficult for poor Irishmen with a traditional Irish surname to find work in their own country. And so the Irish had to get rid of the prefixes O, Mac, Mac, Fitz, etc., which betrayed their Irish origin. Some subsequently returned the prefixes to their surnames, some did not. From 1845 to 1852, during the Great Famine caused by a failed potato harvest, the country's population fell by almost a quarter. More than 1 million died from exhaustion and disease, and another 1 million left for North America. The British took pity on the starving Irish, but put forward their own conditions. Kitchens opened across the country, feeding hungry children soup while teaching them the basics of Anglicanism. This initiative went down in history under the name Supperism. The poor Catholic Irish were given a meager choice: apostasy from their religion or starvation. And again, Irish surnames suffered. Those wishing to receive a portion of soup again had to remove the prefix from their surname, which indicated Irish origin. Those who chose soup were called the derogatory epithet, suppers. The measure was very effective. By 1866, only 4% of people with the surname O'Sullivan used the prefix O, and by 1944, 2 decades after Irish independence, the number had increased to 60%. A similar situation happened with the surname O'Connell, but many other surnames have lost their prefix forever. Among them is the most popular Irish surname, Murphy, as well as Connolly, Donnelly, Dowley, Foley, Nolan, Queen, and others. Some surnames, such as Regan and Rayleigh, now exist in 2 versions, with and without prefix, and some were given back the wrong counsel. For example, MacGorman turned into O'Gorman. The introduction of the English language also led to a number of mistakes. Thus, the surname McGowan, translated from Celtic as son of blacksmith, became Smith. You can guess what happened to Irish surnames in the USA. Many refugees were illiterate, and the Americans did not know Irish surnames, and so Farrelly became Farley and Connolly turned into Conley.
But today, the Irish and Scottish prefixes Mac and Meg feel quite comfortable. Options like MacDonald and MacDonald, they're considered different surnames, but they both equally popular. There is practically no difference between them, except that Meg was more often used in Scotland for clan surnames rather than generic surnames.
But one way or another, all the Irish people from different clans and septs with Gaelic, Norman, or even pure polluted English surnames on different ends on the earth feel their connection with the motherland and native traditions, which is worthy of respect. Yet not every nation feels such a connection and has such relationships. Many people are really interested in studying their roots, the history of clans, comparing surnames, and finding distant and close relatives in various places, not only in Ireland, but also in England, America, Australia, all over the world.
Today, more than 80 million people in the world have Irish roots. It's good to see that many of them have retained their Celtic surnames, no matter what. By the way, did you know that almost any surname has its own coat of arms? It's so interesting. Look for information. Well, I said so much, but we got a lot of stuff to talk about. See you in the next thematic video.